I'm smarter than you, Ricky. Back in school, there was this one kid in my class who always had to be the center of attention. His name was Ricky. There's always a Ricky. One afternoon in English class, Ricky was sat behind me. Ricky wasn't exactly academically inclined, and so on this afternoon Ricky had decided that his entertainment was going to consist of him kicking the back of my chair at random intervals. I just ignored it for a while, but near the end of the lesson, my patience finally snapped, and I turned around and gave Ricky the middle finger. Immediately, Ricky started pointing at me and yelling at our teacher. Sir, he swore at me. He swore at me. Now, there's two things you need to know. Firstly, this was a Christian school in the mid-1990s. Swearing was a big deal. Secondly, in the UK there used to be two different ways of giving the finger. One was the middle finger and the other was raising the index finger as well in a V shape. Anyway, the teacher comes over to investigate Ricky's yelling. He looks over at me and I immediately deny everything. The teacher sighs and asks me to follow him out of the room. Once in the hallway he turns to me and asks again if I swore at Ricky. I continue my denials. Then he says, okay, but if you were going to give somebody the finger, how would you do it? Well, sir, I don't really know, I reply. Please note at this point that butter wouldn't melt in my lying mouth. I continued, but if I was forced to, I guess. At this point, I reluctantly performed the two-fingered version for my teacher. Please note, this is not the one-fingered version I actually used. The teacher nods and sends me back into the classroom before calling Ricky out instead. I didn't get to hear that conversation, but I can only assume that Ricky was asked to describe how I gave him the middle finger, and that his answer was inconsistent with my own. After a couple of minutes, an extremely unhappy Ricky was forced to come back into the class and apologize to both myself and the whole class for causing disruption. How I managed to keep the smirk of my face, I'll never know.